Welcome back, adventurers, once again to another episode of Let's Play ChäoS Had. In the last episode, Barn went back to Momose over at Frisia Investigations. I can't really remember if that's precisely what it's called, but that's exactly what I'm calling it. And learned about her hunch that the G rate throughout the entire year, not to mention decade, has been manipulated by somebody behind the scenes. Although Barnes' junior partner Sewer was somewhat mildly skeptical about all this. Meanwhile, back here with Takumi, and he's still none the wiser as to who this Kozupi is, nor how she was able to talk with him inside his head, and also speak his mind, pretty much. The reason I didn't return to my base right away was because I was still attached to the idea of maybe being able to meet Rimi, who has still pretty much disappeared off the face of the planet at this point. So after classes ended and everyone had gone back home, or gone home, I snuck back into the empty classroom. Rimi would be waiting there alone, and she'd smile when she saw me, and...
石どこ行ってたの？待ってたのよ。
If only things would work out that way in reality. Unfortunately, it is currently a delusion at this point. Wishful
一緒
thinking.
に帰ろっか、タク。
I thought maybe she'd say that to me. I hoped just a little for such development to take place. But no one was in the classroom. Of course no one was waiting for me. So where could Rimi be? Another mystery to solve. I tried going to the courtyard. This was where Rimi had told me, "I'll be there for you." But now no one was there. Only the purple flowers blooming in the flower bed swayed forlornly, blown by the autumn wind. Come to think of it, In fact, Rimi actually stopped showing up the day Ayase was saved by the other flower bed that had materialized in a concrete parking lot. I took the vermilion handkerchief out of my bag. I received it from Rimi back then. I experimentally sniffed it, but because I'd washed it, the floral scent had vanished. I had the handkerchief, but not its scent. I had memories of her, but Rimi wasn't here. The opposite of how we were when we first encountered her. There I was, wanting to see the girl I'd made up in my head.
なんて
Haunting the school building after classes.
なんて救いようがないんだ。僕って
Probably further at this rate. Pressing a female handkerchief to my lips. It was so damn creepy I thought I'd retch. But Rimi is not here. She is nowhere to be found. I left school and stumbled around aimlessly. Nothing seemed to matter anymore. My anxiety about the possibility of being attacked by Shogun and Yua had drifted off somewhere as well. To that I say good riddance. On the contrary, I hope they'd be kind enough to kill me painlessly. A forlorn hope. My mind had gone into utter depression mode. As I regarded the central district of Shibuya from this perspective of mine, its atmosphere was brutal enough to accelerate my gloom. No one walking along the road was smiling. They glared harshly at their surroundings. It's a good thing nobody is currently noticing Takumi right now. Very good thing. Something in the air made it seem as if it wouldn't be strange if the people passing me started fighting with me at any moment. Kind of getting the same vibe that Takumi was getting back with the delinquents at school. Simply walking along like this, I spotted a number of stores with closed shutters, though they would normally have been boisterous with customers, and I had the vague sense that the number of cars on the roads had decreased as well. The jumbotron that always blared noisily blared out sound was now silent. In exchange came incessant far-off police sirens, cars honking their horns and squealing. There were no signs of how I'd caused such a riot at the plaza a week ago. Again, oddities everywhere. Though it hadn't yet vanished from people's memories, perhaps I was already gone from the city's memory, chased beyond the far side of forgetfulness. Would have been nice if I could forget every one of my memories as well. Knowing nothing, being ignorant, remaining a fool. Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that front, Takumi Nishijo, but I understand your sentiment. People like that must surely live rose-colored lives and relish every single day.
無知は罪だ。知らない方が幸せなこともあるという人間もいるが、そんなのはただの甘えだ。
And I was thinking something along those lines. I had a feeling that Senna had told me so. What's wrong with being naive? To be honest, quite a lot, but I was just recalling the fact that Senna's parting words to Takumi that one time were how wonderful it would be if you could believe everything that you saw at face value. I'm not all that strong. We're always seeking someone else's salvation. I couldn't do anything on my own, nor did I want to. I stood in the center of the street and closed my eyes. Probably not a good idea. Knowing only part of the truth as I did now was the burdensome of all possible situations. Shogun and D-swords, for instance. I hadn't wanted to know about them, but I'd found out. That said, if someone asked me, so what are they really, I wouldn't be able to come up with an answer. I didn't know the answer, and I don't think Senna and Ayase quite do either. Shall I try to die? I thought as I looked up at the roof at O Front. If I died, perhaps my memories would be reset, and it would be possible to replay everything. Say, person behind me, what do you think? Your role-playing utterly failed this time around. You were wrong in how you cultivated your character. You should have gone with a cooler, more heroic character. It had to be someone sociable and kind to girls. One who would challenge the strong and aid the weak, one with a fiery sense of justice. Probably like the fast Nightheart. You can't defeat the last boss with me. You can't use me to clear your game. Don't expect anything of me. Reset me. I'm begging you, take this worthless self of mine and erase it. No one erased me. We're still here. Instead came the impact of someone banging into my shoulder.
おい、邪魔なんだよ。
I thought I was hallucinating. I heard the female version in the morning, so this time it must be the male version. Not that I asked for one. I'd rather have a more moe hallucination, one that I could fap to, of course you would. But if they whispered sexy lines by my ear, I'd have a boner right in the middle of town. Now is not the time to go into otaku
無
mode.
視してんじゃねえぞ。
Definitely not the time.
なあてめえ、西条だな。
As I said,
どうなんだやらせ超能力少年。
unfortunately it's too little too late.
この前テレビ出てたよな。ギャラいっぱいもらったんだろ。
ちょっと顔貸せよエスパー君。
I opened my eyes. 3 guys stood there, surrounding me. They wore baggy clothes and had yellow, silver, and red hair. 2 had piercings in their ears or their nose. 1 had a piercing in just his ear. 1 was the type of Ganguro man who is so rare nowadays they're practically a protected species. Here's my death flag, I thought. Was this really another unhappiness trap? Really, they came one after the other. I'm telling you, I don't care anymore. Hurry up and kill me, because then I get reset and become reborn. That's not how it works. Do you have a knife or 2 ready with you? Stab me properly so I die right away. My knees began to shake from fear. I yelled on instinct. It was close to a scream, but I couldn't pay attention to appearances. Too late for that now. I was lying about not caring. Even in such desperate circumstances, I don't want to die.
うっせんだよ。
They covered my mouth. I couldn't say anything. They grabbed my arms on either side.
騒ぐと殺すぞ。
That was when I stopped resisting. They dragged me to an uninhabited alleyway. I launched a preemptive strike against the leering trio. For some reason the words God's Judgement scrawled up there on the wall, and over to the right there is a word side.
許して。
Apologizing in a quavering voice, I prostrated myself.
お金なら全部渡すから。それで見逃してください。
I held my wallet out to them. The delinquent snatched it.
へえ、お前金持ちだな。さすが超能力少年だぜ。
Braying like a pack of hyenas.
お前いいやつじゃん。俺気に入っちゃったよ。
Prostrated, I let out a breath of relief. Apparently they were going to let me escape. Yeah, right.
俺らの仲間に入れてやるよ。入会金は100万円な。これ強制。本当はすぐ払ってもらうとこだけどよ。今日の夜までにしてやるよ。
I'm of the mind that you would just kill him and take the money anyway. Yeah, there's no way out of this.
まあ、なんか超能力使って見せてくれたら半額にしてやってもいいけどな。
Yeah, that's not gonna happen anytime soon.
なんか言えよ。
超能力見せろっつってんだよ。
There's nothing we can do.
できねえの？
できねえのかっつってんだよ。
To be fair, you weren't the one that asked that other person. Pain ran through my side. I thought I might have broken a rib. Well, you weren't the one that broke it. I couldn't breathe. I began to feel faint. I had vertigo. The foot of a thug in front of me entered my field of sight. The tip of his shoe came flying towards my face with incredible force. And Takumi mercifully blacked out, although mercifully is probably the wrong word for it. I wondered what had happened. I thought I felt enough pain in my face to make me pass out, but it might have been my imagination. I figured I'd open my eyes, but my eyelids wouldn't move. The darkness wouldn't disappear for me.
んだよ、もう 伸びたのか？
どうする？このくらいにしとく？もうちょっと痛みつけといた方がいいんじゃね？あのダーススパイダーの兄ちゃんもそう言ってたじゃん。
Wait a minute. What did you just say? Darth Spider.
ボコボコにしてくれって言ってた。
Yeah, he said Darth Spider, which means one thing. These three thugs, their being here is not a coincidence. Apparently, they were dragged along by the fake
こい
shogun.
つボコるだけで金くれるなんて、よっぽどこいつのこと嫌いなのかもな。
So in other words, they had no intention of letting him live to begin with. I miss Heidegger and Scarlet from Final Fantasy VII. Never thought I'd ever say those words.
というわけなんで、続きまーす。
俺らのこと恨まないでね。
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I want to kill them. I'm sorry.
Oh! おい、何土地狂ってんだよ。ふざけんなよ。なんだそれ。おい、よせ。やめろ。やめて。やだ。
We were saved, I think. I doubt. Don't think we were saved there. But something happened. The faint light of dusk filtered through the hospital window. And there is a figure that we haven't seen in quite some time. An old man who isn't an old man, but rather a young boy with the appearance of an old man, wearing a jumper, some baggy jeans, and a beanie, sitting rather comfortably in a creaky old wheelchair. The other Shogun, the real Shogun. In other words, not a hallucination, not a delusion. But why is he at the hospital of all places? The twilight-colored light sharply divided the middle of the room into that which was bright and that which was dark. What made it visible was snow-white sheets covering a bed, a handheld game system laid beside the pillow, a number of scholarly books lined up along the shelves, the pale purple petals of the cosmos flowers arranged in a vase. It was an orderly room. Nothing moved. A space where time seemed to have stopped. A window that cut a piece out of the dusk sky. A small figure sat in a wheelchair by the windowsill. His back facing the window, he remained motionless. His breaths were so gentle and came so far apart as to make one think he might be dead. Oh, but he isn't dead. Not by a long shot, at any rate. His skin was covered in wrinkles. His cheeks were gaunt, his eyes were sunken. Not a single hair grew on his head. An appearance that invoked uncertainty about whether to call him a boy or an old man. The shadow of he who called himself Shogun elongated all the way to the door. There, for the first time, the world moved. The door gradually opened, and someone came from the dark hallway toward the sunlight. Someone is here to visit Shogun, but who might it be? Rimi Sakihata stood still at the threshold, without entering the hospital room. That's right, adventurers. Rimi knows who Shogun is. The sunset illuminated her tormented expression.
もうやめよう。
Yeah, Rimi knows who Shogun is. And that means that Rimi lied to Takumi about the night of the scramble crossing, about the people disappearing, and of course about the presence of Shogun. Yeah, it should have been obvious to anyone that Rimi had her fair share of secrets. But it seems like Ayase wasn't the only person who Rimi was looking out for over the hospital.
残念だけど、あの彼は西条匠は消すべきだよ。
Erased. Oh dear. Shogun didn't budge an inch at her words.
どうして？
危険だから。
Grief infused Rimi's voice as she answered. Her eyes too appeared faintly damp.
私が消そうか。
ダメだよ。
Ultimately, even Rimi couldn't discern whether he moved his mouth when he spoke.
彼にはやってもらわなくちゃいけないことがあるんだ。
What it seems, Shogun, the true Shogun, still has plans for Takumi Nishijo. Rimi's hair fell forward as she hung her head, and she quietly pushed it back with her fingers.
例えば、あなたは夢に見たことを覚えていられる？
うん。
そっか。私、すぐ忘れちゃうんだ。
できる人とできない人がいる。
できる人はきっとロマンチストなんだね。
すごく長い夢をよく見るよ。見ている間は何年にも感じられる。
私もそうだった。そうだった気がする。でもそれは幻。実際の時間としては寝ているうちのほんの 2,3 秒程度のものなんだって。夢って心の歌方なの。だから早く目覚めて出ないといつかあなたは西条匠に殺されちゃう。
So Rimi Sakihata is worried that Takumi Nishijo is going to kill Shogun, which is fairly understandable given the fact that Takumi believes that Shogun is the one responsible for all his ills. But that begs the question, why is Rimi going out of her way to protect Shogun, who realistically, the actual Shogun, if I'm being completely honest, actually was never that hostile towards Takumi in the first place. His imposter, on the other hand, the mysterious Darth Spider pretending to be Shogun, is in fact incredibly hostile towards Takumi and is making his life a living hell, literally.
それでも構わないよ。夢から覚めるわけにはいかない。この夢は完結させなくちゃ。
完結した夢の後には何が残るの？
What indeed? And what is Shogun's dream? I wonder about that. Anyway, we're now back with Takumi, and yet again this segue is going to mark the end of this episode of Let's Play ChäoS Head. And when we return, adventurers, yet another mystery is slowly revealing itself. And maybe we might eventually finally possess the answers. Eventually. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.